AI-assisted marking, first we'll take a look at how eSkilled has incorporated this into our learning management system. But before we start, I just want to introduce you to eBot. So eBot is our proprietary artificial intelligence system. eBot helps clients with AI assistance across our platforms. eBot is also the brains behind our AI assessment marking system. And one of eBot's roles is to help ease the burden of assessment marking for assessors. So let's see eBot in action. So on the screen here, we have a typical VET question from the TAE diploma. As you can see, it's a fairly standard question. It's a three-part question. You can see there the student has answered, provided an answer for each question. In this example, this is actually a real example, the student has answered parts 1 and 3 correctly. However, they've got part 2 incorrect. They've actually got the correct steps there, but in the wrong sequence. So it's quite a nuanced question to test out AI. So obviously, just like assessors, AI or eBot needs really good benchmarks to be effective. If you want consistent judgments, you have to have quality benchmarks, just like your assessors. In this three-part question, we've got 3 clear benchmarks that explain exactly what the learner needs to do for a satisfactory result in this question. So basically on submission, our AI grading system is going to suggest an outcome. It will provide feedback. So in this scenario, the feedback has provided the exactly where the learner is correct. So parts 1 and 3 are correct. It's also identified that to the student that they've got the correct steps in part 2, but they've got the incorrect sequence. And AI suggests that the learner go back, review the learning materials to understand the sequence a bit better. So the feedback is really incredible. It's really directive and super helpful for learners in terms of understanding what they've done right, what they've done wrong, and what they need to do to address any errors. The thing that I really like about AI grading is that it also, eBot, if you're an assessor and you're not really sure about the judgment, it also provides the rationale for making that assessment judgment in step 3 there as well. If the assessor is happy with the judgment, they simply hit the accept button. That will populate the result or the outcome and the feedback to submit to the learner. If they disagreed, they have the opportunity just to manually mark the assessment like they normally would. So eBot doesn't just give good feedback on not yet satisfactory answers. It also gives amazing feedback on correct answers as well. So in this example, eBot said, "Great job, your answers effectively captured the key elements of the moderation session, aligning well with the task requirements. You clearly identified the purpose, the context, and of the session and demonstrating a solid understanding of the assessment's objectives. Keep up the good work." I'm sure most assessors would love to give that quality of feedback, but typically they don't have that much time to be providing amazing feedback on correct answers. Often it's well done, great work. I think it's really nice to acknowledge when students have done a great job. It's motivating, and it also helps them to better accept critical feedback when you're telling them what they've done wrong as well. Positive feedback is important in terms of motivating learners. So it's important to note, and if Ask was in the room, I'm sure they'll tell you the same, eBot is not a qualified assessor. eBot is there to support you and speed up the process, but at the end of the day, it's the assessor still making the judgment, and that's important to understand. Any assessor accepting that outcome and feedback for the learner is assessing that question. So some challenges you may face, and this has been a really interesting journey for us in implementing this tool with RTOs. So 99% of marking discrepancies that we've had raised to us from clients that have started using AI grading are typically because assessors are deviating from the benchmark. Benchmarks are poorly written, resulting in inconsistent judgments, or all of the above. So AI grading is amazing from the perspective of having a second set of eyes. It's like having two assessors mark every single question. It's the ultimate moderator. eBot will not deviate from the benchmarks. So if your benchmarks are bad, you'll get a bad result. If your assessors are deviating from the benchmark, you'll get different results from each assessor, obviously. So a great way for moderating your assessment. So here's a good example. So we had a question, this is a real example that was raised to us from a client. So, and they were like, oh, it doesn't seem to be like agreeing with what our assessors say. And so we had a look and got some examples through. This one is a question required the learner to identify cross-contamination from an exposed wound in the service of food. And the question required a 50-word response. The student answered that there's a risk of germs from the wound being spread around the early learning centre. AI graded this not yet satisfactory, but the assessor deemed it to be satisfactory. When we investigated the same question, we looked at the answer in the benchmark. The benchmark clearly stated that the contamination was related to the service of food, not about germs spreading around the early learning centre. So AI correctly graded that assessment, and the assessor had deviated from the benchmark and provided an incorrect outcome. So you can see from this example that having that second set of eyes or judgment on an assessment is going to really help your assessors. It's a point of reflection, and not only is it going to speed up your assessing, but it should also provide better outcomes for your learners and more consistent assessment marking as well. So in conclusion, eBot helps your assessors give better feedback, make more consistent judgments, and get more assessments marked faster, so they can spend more time supporting your learners.